Welcome, everyone. My name is Chartrice Judson, and I'm the director of the Ozanam Scholars Program. So I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to kind of get settled, and we'll start in about 2 minutes. Hi, Grace. Nick from Brooklyn, Ariana from Jamaica, James from Staten Island. Okay. So I'm going to be candid with you tonight. This is kind of a abridged version of what we did in November, if you were on that chat. A lot of our scholars, fortunately, they're actually traveling in Ecuador doing research. And then another set of our scholars will be going to Paris and then on to Rome on Sunday. So you, unfortunately or fortunately, you do have me doing this presentation, and you can ask me any questions as we go through it. I'm going to do about 5 short slides, and then I do have my lovely colleague here, Dr. Angela Siegel, who is going to be monitoring the chat if you do have any questions. So I'm just going to jump right in it, and if you have questions, I will try to answer them, and we'll have one of the other individuals in our office try to answer the questions. So today's agenda, we're going to do the program overview. Unfortunately, we won't have the student panel, but that does open it up for you guys to just ask questions for me, and I will try to answer them as best as possible. So the Ozanam Scholars Program provides a platform for students to critically examine the systems of poverty that perpetuate poverty and take action to advance social justice globally. And basically what that means is this program is centered around social justice work and really helping to assist the poor and to assist society really to be a better society. So some of our program themes, all our scholars are academic scholars. Well, for us, we do take the time to develop their skills academically. They're also Vincenzo leaders, and then they're global citizens within the campus, locally and international. All of our students are required to travel abroad and have some type of social justice experience. The benefits of being an Ozanam scholar. So we do offer a scholarship, $10,000 each semester for 4 years, your freshman, sophomore, and junior and senior year. You do get to participate in a social justice minor. We do local, national, and international travel. You will eventually get to study in Rome your sophomore semester, either the first semester, the fall, or the spring semester, and it does depend on your major. The ability to present at conferences and attend those conferences. For the junior year of the program, the senior year, you will be conducting your own original research, and you will be getting a faculty mentor to assist with that. You get to volunteer in the community, and you also have a membership of cohort individuals committed to social justice work. I'm going to go into the program requirements. So for the program, you do have to be registered as a full-time student. You maintain a 3.0 GPA. For the first year of the program, you live on campus together in your dorm, and more than likely that your roommate may be an Ozanam scholar, or it also may be a Catholic scholar. Our programs are pretty similar, but we do try to match students with either of their roommates would be in the program or in the Catholic scholars. So you have to complete the social justice minor, complete the service requirements, and participate in all Ozanam Scholars program and events, participate in the study abroad experience that our students are going to in about 2 weeks. Also, you complete a capstone research project, and that's going to be happening your junior and senior year, and then you adhere to the student code of conduct, the guidelines. So that's kind of the program requirements, and a lot of the scholars do meet most of these requirements. The GPA for the average scholar is a 3.8. The minimum is a 3.0. but most of our scholars do have leadership positions in sororities, fraternities, other organizations on campus. They are leaders within our program and then within campus all around. So I'm going to do a stop. I'm going to stop sharing. And so what I'm going to try to do is, if anyone has any questions about the program, about the application, about the student experience, I'll answer questions through the chat if anyone has any.
They asked, one of the questions that was asked is, do you have to minor this? So maybe you can ask, go into a little bit of what a social justice minor for Ozanam scholars means.
Yes. So the social justice minor for Ozanam scholars, every major into that, or sorry, minor into it, it's about 18 credits. There are certain requirements that you do have to take, and it's cohort model. So if you are actually, for every cohort, there's a certain class that you take. And then Father Ruiz is the person who actually manages the minor, but it does have certain classes you have to take, and then you can choose some other ones. And you still can major in anything. Your minor is secondary. The major, we have majors from all over every college, from pharmacy to nursing to business to sociology to pharmacology. We have students that represent all majors and colleges at the university. The application process.
Where do you apply, and how do you get chosen?
Okay, so the application process, when you apply to the institution, there should have been a scholarship portal that you can apply to the Ozanam Scholars Program. And it's a short application process, 3 main questions. I tell students, tell us your story. Let me know why you want to be a part of this program. What speaks to you, especially, when you're doing service work, because we do have a service requirement. We're social justice oriented, and then we have a research requirement. So I guess for me, what we're looking for is someone who lives the work that they do. So what are you currently doing as a high school student that you can speak to? What research are you interested in, or what topics are you interested in? When you come here, you actually want to research. One of the other questions that someone asked is, if you choose not to live on campus, will you still qualify for the program? Unfortunately, no, you have to live on campus. We do that to build community. The one thing about the freshmen, for your first year, from 5 to 7 every Tuesday, we have something called Tuesday Conference, where we get together and we talk about different social justice topics. We get to build community. We explore kind of what it means to be a college student, what it means to be a leader. And then we also do go over topics, as in their spring semester. They do service trips to Puerto Rico. This year, our freshmen, we're going to, I believe, Texas, Mexico. We're trying to do something with the immigration and border control, and how focusing on the rights of citizens and immigration, and that whole, I guess, task force, what we're doing.
Someone asked, what is the duration of study abroad? And another person asked, can you tell us a little bit about the interview process?
Sure. So the study abroad takes place, it's for fall of your semester, your sophomore year, and then spring of your sophomore year. It depends on your major. Some majors, they have different requirements, so they only can take it a student can only take it in fall, or they can go spring. So, and we kind of have that conversation with the freshmen spring semester about what's best for them. And then you kind of choose what you would like to do, and we kind of work through that. What was the second one?
Can you tell us a little bit about the interview process?
Okay. So the interview process, once we get the applications, we go over it and we invite students to interview. It's usually about 30 to 45 minutes. It's going to be me, one of our graduate assistants, another one of the people in the office, and we're literally there to have a conversation about what you love. After you get through that, we want you to shine personally. I always tell people, tell us your story. What makes you you? Social justice is not just a narrative or a topic that you read about. You can be social justice. And so that's kind of what the interview process is. It's not like, it's not anything strenuous. We really want to get to know you, because the reality is when you get in this program, you're going to have 24 people that you get to talk to, commune with, learn with, and grow. And so we want to make sure that the people who are in this program actually like doing social justice work, like serving the poor, like learning, like doing research, because it's one thing to say you do it. It's another thing to live what we say.
So a lot of people are asking where they apply and where they get the link. So if you want to just reiterate a little bit where to find that, because it was also the application link was also found in the invitation up to this.
Okay, so the application is also an invitation for this, webcast that we're doing. Rome is not the only study abroad location. For our program, we do study abroad in Rome. However, there are other opportunities to study abroad at the university. It's just our scholars specifically do Rome. Now, we do have a couple of students that I have a student who's going to study abroad. He's an education major, so they have a specialized program that they can do while they're in Rome. They're doing student teaching in like an Italian school, and he still is part of the program, but it's tied also to his major. So depending on your major, it could be different study abroad options that you do while you're in Rome. But to fulfill the requirements for our program, you do have to study abroad in Rome. But we do have a campus in Paris. We have a campus in Ireland, I believe. And there's other opportunities. I would definitely say connect with Study Abroad because they have an array of different experience, short-term programs that are 3 weeks, semester long, maybe 1 week. It really depends on what you are interested in.
People continue to ask, is the application deadline is January 15th. And if you go to the group chat, you could find the link in there as well. Jillian has been providing it several times throughout the chat.
Okay. Let's see.
Someone asked, they missed the beginning with technical issues. Can you tell us a little bit about the scholarship?
Yes. And you know what? I can just.
Patrice, I actually would like to ask, can you tell a little bit about what it means to moderate or to support the Ozanam Scholars Program? So right now you're actually currently working with the first year group. Maybe can you talk a little bit about what that experience has been like working with the first year students?
Sure. I'll say for me, you're a college student, and that's kind of the reality of it. I look at our scholars as leaders that came from high school, but you're still college students. There are going to be adjustment issues. So for me, I bridge that gap between the person you can go to at the institution where if you don't know where to go, I do connect you to that. Our scholars are, I will say, they're social justice warriors. They can point out issues within our campus, within the world, and we dialogue and we try to make it better. They also do have to do service. Right now, we're looking at 2 service experiences for our, I would say, freshmen and sophomores. For juniors, it's 1 experience for the semester. So I feel like you have to really be dedicated to what this is, and we help you do that. We don't expect you to come, I would say, come in knowing exactly what to do, but we do expect you to at least be able to communicate effectively, be able to do the service and serve the communities we could do. I'm going to go back to the slide that the benefits of being a scholar. The scholarship is up to $10,000 every year that you're here from freshman to senior year for 4 years. It's $5,000 a semester. And so as long as you meet the requirements, we continue to give a scholarship. So that's kind of where we are. As long as you have 3.0, you're progressing in the program, that's when you get the scholarship.
Someone asked, is the program rigorous? What do you think as a moderator?
For me, the program is rigorous, yes, but it's worth it. Like, I will definitely tell you, every student that we have in this program is capable of doing the work and being a leader. They make connections within the university, within the community. And for me, it is a rigorous program because you are expected to do research with a faculty member, but those faculty members become your references when you want to go to grad school. They become your references when you actually want to get a job. I do believe that this program helps students take the advantage of everything that the institution has to offer. We invite career services in to talk about how to do a resume, how to get an internship, how what do you want to actually do after you graduate? Is it grad school or is it a job? We kind of give you connections that other students you can get at the university, but we make it accessible. And that's one thing I will say. It's a rigorous program, but there are benefits to it. I would say 2 of the scholars last year, we have 1 student who she continued her research and now she's a PhD student at Columbia. We had another student who he was looking at Black males and their mental health, I believe, at St. John's and Justin College, and he's now at a PsyD program pursuing his doctorate at Rutgers in New Jersey. So I do think all the students in this program, they go on to do great works within their own communities, whether it's grad school, professional. It is a way that you can network through college and create those connections, because the same individuals that you're doing research with, their faculty mentor, are the same people writing those recommendations to get into college, law school, and beyond. So it's definitely a rigorous program, but there are benefits to joining it.
Someone asked, can you tell us a little bit about the service experiences that are part of the program?
Yes, so a lot of the service experience is built around Queens and New York City, and even we do have some connections in Nassau County, and it's rooted in vengeance and faith. So we are servicing the poor, the disenfranchised. You are up and personal with the communities. A lot of the students love working with the public school system in Queens. We have students doing it's Read 718, which is a program that the students volunteer to help students who may have challenges or not at their reading level. They assist them and help them read. We also do have service sites at St. Bread and John's. It's a soup kitchen, but also they do a layer of things in Brooklyn, and we take our students from that site and to the service site and come back. They also do reflection, so a lot of it's coordinated for you. You just kind of have to show up, and we take you to the site. We have reflection, and we return you back. And it's also around your student schedule. We are important. Grades are important. We want you to be in class, but we structure it all around your schedule for school. The deadline someone asked what the deadline is to apply for the program, and it's currently January 15th of this year.
Someone asked, what are examples of a social justice minor? Maybe you could just explain what a minor and a major is at a university.
Sure. So a minor, your major may consist of maybe 60 credits. A minor is 18 credits. It's about 6 classes. So there's Intro to Social Justice. We have a class that's also related to research. There's a class that's related to learning about vengeance and faith and Catholicism and how that impacts the world. It's basically a set of 6 classes that are chosen, and you get to choose either or. So it's not, there are certain classes you have to take, but there's certain classes you get to choose. And it's only 18 credits, which means you can still do a major. You can even double minor. I have students who are doing the minor in social justice. They're minoring like business. Their major is maybe, international business or marketing, or we even have nursing students, which is a new major here, but we're still working. You can do the minor, do the program, and still do the major. So it's not as complex as a major, but it's just a group of 6 classes consisting of 18 credits. And a lot of the degrees here offer flexibility to do a minor and to maybe double major or do a minor. So someone asked, is the scholarship only for incoming freshmen or high school seniors eligible for this program? Okay, so if you're a high school senior right now, technically you'll be an incoming freshman next fall. So it is eligible for incoming freshmen who are high school seniors now. The other part to it is we don't disqualify students if they have AP credit, transfer credit. You just have to be a first-time student at the institution.
Somebody asked, I'm also a poli-sci minor. Could I minor in the social justice minor? And the answer would be?
It'll be yes. As long as you have the credits. Most minors are 18 credits. So if your major owns 60, you have to do free electives or a minor. The website states too long.
If you are undecided, you certainly can apply. You do not need to know exactly what you're studying. You do not, someone asked, do you have to be committed to the college to apply for the program?
You do.
Not to apply.
Wait, not to apply?
You can apply for the program. You wouldn't get the scholarship unless you
committed. Yeah. So you can apply to the program and get accepted, but you have to come to the institution. Does that make sense? Like, we don't give the scholarship without actually getting into the institution. Now, once you get accepted, then you can choose to accept the scholarship. Someone also asked if they're eligible as an international graduate assistant with the GA.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you're not. You're not eligible if you are a graduate student. It's only for undergraduate students. Now, if you are a student who's accepted into pharmacy, that's okay. We do have it worked out with pharmacy where you can be in this program and you'll be eligible, because pharmacy is a 6-year program instead of a 4-year program. So that's the only caveat to that.
Someone asked if they are playing varsity sports like soccer, is it tough to be both a student athlete and an Ozanam scholar?
That depends. It may be, but the one thing I will say is it all depends on your sport and when you have to actually when you play. I'm a person where I'm not going to disqualify. We don't even look at that honestly. When we are admitting, like going through the application process, I don't I don't believe we get that information. And so if you're accepted, we will work through your travel schedule. We're not going to penalize someone if they're on a sports team.
So let me ask you a question, Shatrice. What are some of the things that you look for on the application? If I wanted to submit my application, what are some of the things that I should be sure to highlight?
I would say a couple of things that you would want to highlight is your community service. What are you currently doing as a freshman? Well, not freshman, sorry, senior in college. What have you done in your community? What have you done in your, religious institution? We are a Vincenzo Catholic institution. However, in our gamut of our scholars, we have Christians, we have, Muslim students, we have a whole array of religious backgrounds. And that's one of the great things that we're accepting of all faiths. So I do want to see in a person's application is what are you currently doing in school, in your community, in your faith-based place? What are you doing to serve the needs of your community? Also, academically, what are your interests? Because eventually you will select it, you have to do a research project. So what are you passionate about? Speak to that. You may not know. It's okay not to know, but have some idea of, I would say, well, a lot of students come in, I want to change the world. Well, how do you want to change it? What do you see in your own community that if you have the time and the resources that you will want to change? I think that's something else that I would highlight looking at application. The other thing is be yourself. You don't have to, think I want to say the right thing to get in or make them like me. Be yourself. Who are you? I always tell people from high school, people tell you what you should be. When in college, you decide who you get to be. And so at that point, when you're doing your application, kind of figure out who you want to be. What is your ideal like as you get to this institution or you get to any institution, who do you want to be and what do you want to represent?
Somebody asked, oops, sorry, I just lost it. Oops, I'm so sorry. I just lost the question. The scholarship says up to 10K. Can you get less money? Would it disqualify you from getting the full 10K?
No, this is up to 10K because technically we do 5,000 each semester. If you don't complete the program requirements, one semester, you could lose the scholarship. And that's why we say up to 10K. Most of the time, students are meeting the GPA requirements. They're meeting the service requirements. You're on track for your research. That's why it's up to 10K, because there could be a semester where you don't complete the requirements and you may not be in the program anymore. So as long as you do what needs to be done to stay in the program, the scholarship, it will be guaranteed. It only is up to 10K. If something happens and then you have to leave the program, then you're only getting the scholarship for that program, that the time you were in the program.
Someone asked, what is your stance on LGBT and how do you address hate towards it?
It's interesting. I cannot be, for me, as a person of color, as a woman, as a person who has, my goddaughter's moms are part of the community as an ally, it's not tolerated. It's not, and it's not part of social justice. And that's the one thing, I champion for, and every scholar understands that we don't tolerate hate of any kind, whether it's religious hate, sexual orientation, skin color. That's part of the program about being okay to say this is not okay and speak up and advocate. And that's one thing that, there's no toleration for it. And I hope that our scholars will be able to stand with that and promote that.
There are 22 students who get selected for the program.
As of right now, there are roughly around 25 students who get selected for the program.
Shatrice, can you tell the community here what do you think the best thing that students say about the international travel component that's a part of this program?
I think the one thing, we currently have students, they got there on Monday morning at 7 a.m. I think for them, It's just to experience something other than themselves. And it's one thing to talk about poverty and see it, but poverty outside of the US looks different. And I think they get an appreciation for being an American citizen. You know, I always say there is American citizen privilege, like because we're American, but also that means that we can make great strides and help, you know, and they do love the fact that the communities that we visit do want social action, social justice, and it's not as a tourism thing. It's as a space where I can kind of grow and extend my horizons. You know, I'm going to Paris with a group of students to look at Vincenzo Face, the history of what Ozanam, who was our namesake, where he lived, where they worked, and you know, to see that history, they appreciate that. And I do think it's one of those things where we offer a experience that a lot of students don't get to do. And a lot of it is covered. The majority of it's covered. The only thing that students pay for, at least for the whole program, is the trip to actual get to Paris. Everything else is covered throughout the program. And someone did answer that question. I would say for me, you know, you just look at it from a different lens. You look at the world from a different lens when you do study abroad. You look at a world from a different lens when you have conversations with indigenous communities. You know, you look at the world differently when you look at poverty in one area and you compare poverty to the US. Some people would say the US is really not poverty. It is poverty, but from looking at it from an outside global perspective, you know, we have running water here. Some places don't. You know, for us, we do have free education here. Some places you have to pay. So there are disparities in the US, but I think scholars get a different view of what it means to be a citizen and the privileges we have as a US citizen versus going to other countries and what their, I guess I want to say what their plight is in a way.
Someone asked, can I cancel the scholarship at any time or do I have to do it for all 4 years?
You can definitely cancel the scholarship at any time. You know, I do think sometimes students get in the program and it may be too much. You may want to focus on something else. You know, it's not like we hold you hostage. We want you to gain something from this. So if you do have to take a step away or leave the school for a semester, we do work with you to that. You know, it's not like a, you know, you don't cut it, you're out. It doesn't happen that way. And if you do choose to step away from the scholarship this time, you still can be a student here. It's not an issue. I did see this. So someone asked a question about the Tuesday class I mentioned. Okay, so one thing that we do for any scholar that's selected, we make sure that your first schedule for when you come in as a freshman, we hold slots where you won't have any Tuesday classes from 5 to 7. So you won't, if you're a scholar in our program, you won't have a class from 5 to 7. And we ensure that working with academics. We also make sure that when you do service, we coordinate around your academic schedule. So you will never have community service when you have class.
Someone asked, I entered the university in the spring semester. Can I still participate in the program?
I will say, unfortunately, no, because we're cohort based. So you have to start in the fall. Now, you have to start in the fall. So you would enter fall 2023. We do not really admit in the spring. It has to be the fall.
So lots of people are asking when the application is due again. So we do
January 15th. If you're in the nursing program, you can apply. We have worked out with nursing, as it is a new major, that we will definitely work with nursing majors. I currently have a freshman who is a nursing student. So it is a lot to be a nursing student. However, we do accommodate it just because we don't want a student to miss out on this program just because of their major.
Someone asked, one of the requirements is to live on campus, but I live 5 minutes away. I know you addressed it earlier, but can you talk a little bit why it's important to live on campus in a cohort model of students?
Yes. So even if you live 5 minutes away, there are benefits and research to show that students who live on campus have higher GPAs, one. Also, it allows you to take advantage of the institutional things that we have on campus. And for our program specifically, you build those networks through late night conversations, through the service work we do. I really encourage students to live on campus, regardless of this program, because it's a different feel when you're a commuter. It's okay if you are, but one of the biggest things I tell students, you know, they, I'll say our students can be up at 12 a.m. talking about conversations or just community bonding. That's the, I guess, the blessing of the cohort model is that you bond through community, and living on campus affords you of that community.
So someone whose nursing program can apply to the program. And there is a lot of support from the academic offices to ensure Ozanam scholars can be a part of this program.
Yes, there is.
Will there be other time for sports and clubs once you're in the program?
Yes, a lot of our scholars are presidents of organizations. Sullivan, which if you are in this program or get selected, you will meet him. He is on student government. We have students who are ambassadors. Unfortunately, we have students who are ambassadors, but they're not here tonight because they're taking place in other things like the study abroad, or they're getting prepared to go to Paris in 2 days. So all our scholars are actually usually in other organizations. So it's expected if you are in this program to be a leader on campus, just not in this program. So it is accepted.
And it doesn't matter which major or minor that you are, everyone gets looked at equally. I see lots of PharmD students who are really considering the program, which is really great.
Yeah, we do work very, for PharmD, because it's kind of like a doctoral program mix. There is a little bit of challenges, but we definitely do work with it. We have 2 students currently who are in the PharmD program who are studying abroad with us. So we do make adjustments. We do not disqualify students because of their academic major.
Someone asked what time does the program start? So once you're a scholar, you want to talk a little bit about the requirements.
So
again.
When you're a scholar, I'll say for a first year scholar, we usually do the admit process. You'll get I can go by last year. We haven't set the full dates this year, but it'll be about the same. April 1st, I believe April 1st, May 1st is when we let students know that they've got the scholarship. I'm going to go through that and make those dates may change. But over the summer, you'll know as soon as you accept the scholarship. You will get a series of emails over the summer, dialogues. We have usually a summer reader that we have students have. You come to school, I believe you move in campus usually a day before. At least we have an orientation for about 5 hours. You get to meet the graduate assistants who will work with you. It's I guess the requirements more of the program is just getting here. You get immersed in the culture. And it's also to give you kind of a leg up on the college experience. So it's not much of a, I can't say time commitment, but it does go through when you get here. It starts kind of the week before, but we do send you stuff over the summer to prepare. And you'll be in contact as soon as you know you're selected. We'll definitely get the housing information. You get the roommate, all that stuff works out. So it's not like we leave you hanging and you come. There are things over the summer that we do to prep you.
Someone asked, the application process, does it include essays, letters of recommendations?
I want to say there are short essays because I revamped the questions this year. There are 3 questions with short essays, no more than, I believe, 200 and 350 words. So it's not a paper and it shouldn't be that long. It's just I want you to answer the questions concisely. And like I said earlier, tell your story. A lot of it is more situational based and personal. So for the activities on your application, I would say you would start from your high school, like your last 4 years. What are you doing currently? Like, are you in any clubs, organizations at school, within your community, like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts? Do you do church, like at your local church or cathedral? Like, what do you actually do outside of school? Yes, after freshman year, you can live off campus. It's only the first year that we require students to live on campus. Someone asked, after submitting your application, how's the interview scheduled? I will be reaching, we have a committee going over. We will reach out to those students. We also recognize that you are actually in school at this time. So a lot of the interview process will be conducted through Zoom, usually. And so, it's only 45 minutes. We'll schedule it and you'll be able to at least And we do it usually during the daytime. So 8 to 5. A lot of students, they are, your colleges, your high schools are very aware that students have, I'll say scholarship interviews, programmatic interviews. Some of our scholars in the past or just applicants have used their guidance counselor's office, to actually sit and do the interviews. We do them usually Monday through Friday. We don't do weekends, but we're flexible throughout the day and up until usually 5 p.m.
So someone asked, Ozanam scholars start the fall semester early?
No, you
1 or
just
2 days.
1 or 2 days. It's only 1 or 2 days, and you have the reason why is you get to move into your dorm early. So moving into your dorm, you get settled, and then we kind of have a day of retreat and learning.
Someone asked about the benefits of international travel. I know you talked a little bit about being a global citizen, and so the travel is also covered by being a part of the program.
Yes.
As well.
So I guess to me, one of the benefits of international travel, this is one of the only programs that you can go abroad for free. Like the students don't come out of pocket for minimum cost. We provide your meals, we provide the experiences. So that is one of the benefits of being in global travel. But I do think just seeing something other than the U.S., and that's not a negative thing, but learning about other cultures, like it's one thing to read about it. It's another thing to say, I went to the Amazon, because that's where the students are going when they go to Ecuador. They're doing research for the Shura culture in the Amazon. When our students go to Rome, they are actually studying abroad in Rome, but they are doing community service in I guess in Rome, more or less. So as I brought up the example of the student who's doing student teaching in an Italian school, they're serving in some capacity within the Italian network. So it's one thing to help, I would say, help students learn or engage with children in the U.S., but when you are engaging with students from, the culture of Italian, learning that and being an impact, how much are you really you're doing such an impact globally also. So I do think it's kind of, it's a personal reward, but it's also, you're benefiting the community yourselves, and also you're benefiting a global scale. And then you also get to learn about the same systems of oppression exist internationally. What can we do about it? If we can, if you can make a change there, can we bring that here and make the same change? Vice versa. What can we implement from the U.S. or our culture to their culture? So I do think it's just, it's looking at it through a different lens. And that's something that we talk about in our Tuesday conferences and throughout the program. The study abroad is only for 1 semester. The reality is that you choose based on your major what semester you go. And usually we have 10 students go in the fall, 10 students go in the spring, or like we have the cohort just because it's a lot of students going, and based on your majors, it may be easier for a nursing major to go in spring instead of fall, or a math major to go in fall instead of spring.
Somebody asks, is it required to study abroad? The answer would be yes. And you have to be a student at St. John's University in order to receive the scholarship.
Yes.
So if you receive the scholarship and decline admittance into St. John's, you would not receive the scholarship.
Yes, you have to be admitted and commit to St. John's to receive the scholarship. Are you expected to speak a second language? No, you're not expected to speak a second language. However, one of the things that we do is we are trying to give the basics of French. Like when our students go to Paris, and even when I'm going to Paris, they do get a French culture lesson. We do teach the basics. So yes, we're a tourist, but we do want to learn and appreciate the culture. When they go to Ecuador, we do have translators, but we do have students who do speak Spanish. And so if you want to learn a second language, it is a great time to brush up on that language. The one thing I will do is I'm going to go to Ecuador next year. I want to learn a little bit of conversational Spanish. I know enough to understand, but not enough to speak. So I will say it's not required, but it's great if you would like to learn and broaden your horizons.
So we have a lot of PharmD and a lot of nursing students asking. And so they need to know that we work with the academic offices so that you can study abroad. The academic offices have geared your requirements, your academic requirements per semester, and allows you to be a part of an Ozanam Scholar, study abroad, and do all that we offer through the Ozanam Scholars as a nursing student and a PharmD student.
So someone asked, how many locations are you going to? So as a scholar, it's broken up. So freshman year, We do a service trip to Puerto Rico, or this year we're thinking about Texas and going into Mexico. Sophomore year, you focused on going to Rome for study abroad. However, you also go to Paris because we have a campus in Paris, but that part is to learn about the Vincennes faith and kind of walk where Ozanam walked. You get to really learn what it means to be service to the Vincennes, excuse me. And then junior year, you do go to Ecuador to do research, and that's actually through a course. And then senior year, we do plan a senior trip where we decide where the students can go. So every year there is some type of component of national and international travel appropriated with the program.
And so someone asked, like, do you have to have applied to St. John's to apply for the scholarship?
Yes. Someone at me, can I give it some standout characteristics of current scholarship? Okay. So some of the standout characteristics of some of our current scholars is, I would say, from one, they're academically inclined. They are, they really do understand that to be at college, you've got to be invested in your academics. The other part to it is they are social justice warriors. They will fight the good fight. They are about the service, and they will stand up for anyone who is being marginalized and really live the walk that they say. I think that a lot of the scholars that are current, they are people. And that's the one, it's not that we want people to just say the right things to get accepted to the program. We want you to be humanistic. We want you to look out for your fellow cohort mates. So if you're, if someone's having a bad day, most of our scholars are trying to do everything to make that person's day brighter. They're just all around good people because we want that just to be a good human. That goes a long way. And I do think that's some of the characteristics of them. Leadership. I will honestly say sometimes you got to tell me to slow down. You can't be the president of your sorority, Ozanam scholar. You are doing an internship. You're doing research. They are overcommitted. And so sometimes you have to say, it's okay to say no to this event. It's okay to take some self-care and some time for yourself. I think a lot of them were selected because they were doing incredible work when they were in their high school careers, and they want to continue that incredible work here. Or they may have been new to this social justice thing or volunteerism, but they showed the interest and really wanted to do it, make a difference in the community.
So lots of people are asking what you look for in an Ozanam scholar. So you've been able to answer that. So thank you so much.
Yes, you do attend classes while you're abroad. So that's the other part. So when you're abroad, we have a campus there. So you'll be going to class there, you'll dorm there. It's the same experience. Not exactly like the Queen's campus. However, there is other students who go there. So it's kind of like you also get to teach all the professors and all the administrators speak English. In Paris, they speak, French, and in Rome, Italian. So everybody's dual, they can have dual language. So they speak English and they speak French, or they speak English and they speak Italian. So it's the same amount of, requirements, same issues, or same standards. I will also say, there's one other thing I'm thinking of. Security is also the same there. So it's not, it's a secure spot. Nothing's going to happen there that, they have campus security and people are trained to deal with students. Someone asked what the GPA is to maintain a 3.0. So all across the board, you have to maintain a 3.0 to be in the program.
If I was to walk away from this conversation, Patrice, what's the one thing you should think you would want me to take away from this conversation?
I think for me, I want students to understand that college is an experience. It's a new experience, and this program can provide you the opportunity to enhance that experience through academic service, through research, and through the travel. You can have a well-rounded view of what the world is. And then we want you to walk away from me, at least the way I look at it is, it makes you kind of think about your college experience and what you want to actually do with your life. You're here for 4 years, so make the best experience out of it. And I do think that's something that I always tell scholars, that I expect a scholar when they come in freshman year to can be completely different when they get to their senior year. And what I mean by that is I want you to grow academically. I want you to grow in research. I want you to take up something you love and figure out your passion. You know, that's what I expect out of students, out of scholars. And it's not like you're going to discover it from day one. That's what we're here to help you figure out.
I would say if we skipped over anyone's question, please re-put it in the chat. There's lots of questions coming through, so we want to make sure we answer everything.
Can you study? Yes, you can study abroad in the same places. If you, beside this program, I would go to the St. John's website and look up study abroad, because there's an array of programs that they do have. They have short-term study abroad, which can be like a week or like a half, I think a week. Short-term programs. They have programs that go around to our different campuses. So it's an array of different programs. We just kind of structure our study abroad experience to fit our scholars, but you don't have to be in our program to study abroad. Yes, so international students we do have several scholars who are international students, and I'm not sure what financial documents should be filled out. I would definitely contact admissions on that end, but we accept international students. We don't really look at, your citizenship as a requirement.
We also don't get financial need. So we don't get that information. We accept students based on their application. So whether you're a student who's high need or a student who doesn't have any need, the scholarship is awarded to the most deserving students to be a part of this program. And there are requirements, just like you see on the sheet. There are requirements that you would have to be to sustain to be a part of the program. However, there's a lot of support systems in place to help you achieve those requirements.
Does anyone have any other questions, thoughts, concerns, feelings? Yes, you can study abroad despite not being an Ozanam scholar, but that would be through the study abroad office. But they offer the same type of experience. Like you can go study abroad on the Paris campus. You can go study abroad at the Rome campus. I want to say also Ireland, Limerick. I believe we have a campus there too. So you can study all those. You don't need to apply the social justice minor. It's already built into our program. You will meet Father Luis is the one who handles that, but we actually will make sure that, we do the checks and balances, but you don't have to apply. It's kind of something that's automatic with us.
Patrice, since there's not a lot more questions, I actually wanted to ask you a little bit of a personal question if you can answer it. Okay. I know that you're brand new to St. John's. What has been your most favorite thing about being at St. John's as an employee, but more so just on campus?
I would say for me, the one thing I love about St. John's is it gives me, New York is a big place. And the one thing I love about St. John's is you're in New York, but you have a community. Like you get that taste of you can go in the subway and go see a Broadway show, or you can go downtown and go visit the landmarks, but there's a community with here and everybody's so welcoming. And I do think we live what we say. We do accept all students. We are definitely rooted in the values that we have, but we welcome different opinions, different walks of life. And that's something that I think students need to hear. Especially in our program, I'm that person where be unique, be yourself. And I think that's one thing that this program does exhibit. And even St. John's and in our area, we want students to come feel like this is home and that they find their place here. And even as an employee, I feel the same way. Yes, international major study students can apply for the program.
We see lots of people excited to apply for the position, the scholarship. So we really say get your application in. Lots of people have asked. We get about 200, 250 applications, and we take 25 students. So get your application in so we can get it read.
So, do you have to commit to St. John's prior to being accepted for the scholarship? I believe you do have to. You don't have to commit to accept the scholarship, but when you accept the scholarship, okay, I guess let me explain the process. So, when you're offered admissions and you offer the scholarship, you do have to have. There's a deadline date to accept the scholarship by, and then if you don't accept the scholarship by that date, then you won't be offered it again, if that makes sense. Like we have a tier, we kind of had a tier system in the past where we have students who we have for the scholarship, and there's like a wait list opportunity. So we offer it to 25. You have a certain deadline to meet it by, and then the students who don't accept that scholarship, we do have a wait list approved for it. So there is a deadline to accept the scholarship for the program.
Lots of I can't wait. We're so excited. One of the best things to be on campus is in the first semester. I always say it's the best time with new students because we get a fresh set of eyes, fresh set of energy. It's a really exciting place to be, and it's just that next step in your academic journey.
So, someone asked, early applicants have an increased risk of acceptance. No, they don't. As long as you apply by the deadline, there's no like, we don't review until after the deadline. So I don't even know who's in. Like if you've applied already, I don't know. I don't review until after the deadline.
And Riley said her brother was an Ozanam scholar. We're excited. Hopefully you apply for the program too. COA stands for, what time should we expect to receive the COA? Call of acceptance?
I guess so. The acronyms, I don't know.
I don't know.
To say, I'm about to say last call, last round. Any more questions or concerns?
Someone asked the cost of attendance. There's no cost of attendance for this program. The cost of attendance is similar to, it's the cost of attendance to attend St. John's. So I'm going to leave that to Jill. She would actually be able to give Jillian the accurate cost. Jillian also suggested if you haven't been on campus, book a tour. It's beautiful campus. And we're getting ready to build a brand new health center, so it's going to be quite fascinating on campus.
Trying to think. I'm going to go through the chat to see if we missed anything. Let's see.
Yes, Alexia, the program is run through the university.
Let's see what happened.
Will we be there on acceptance day? What do you think, Shatrice? Of course.
I will be at open house in the spring. And the one thing we do for students who are accepted, I believe for the deadline, we do have like a meet and greet session at the open house. So you'll get to like if you're selected, we do have students, we have like a small session for the incoming scholars, and they get to meet some of the current scholars that unfortunately you didn't get to meet today if you're selected. And we kind of have like a little powwow with you guys, and they talk about their experience, and you can directly ask them questions themselves.
And so you could apply for both St. John's and the scholarship at the same time.
Yes.
You wouldn't be able to receive the scholarship until you're accepted into the university.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, there is an orientation 1 to 2 days before school starts.
See. Okay, so we got about 6 more minutes left.
Some people are telling, can you tell a little bit more about selecting students? If you scroll back in the in the chat, you'll see we talk about looking for social justice warriors, looking for people who are committed to scholarship, recognizing students who want to be global citizens, recognizing service as an important part of the your development.
And I would also say, like, I think a lot of it is the selection process is not, oh, they have a GPA, let's check that off, or they have this. For me and for our committee, we already know the students who are applying have the grades. I want to know what else. I want to know what can your grades, what do your grades, let me rephrase it this way. What can you tell us that your grades can't? What can, without the grades, without that, who are you? And I do think that's what we're looking for when you do your application process. I want you to shine. We know like the schematics and the details, but have you shine through that. The interviews do work. It's 40, usually we schedule them about 30 to 45 minutes. I want to say 45 minutes. We actually treat it like a conversation. And it's usually me or someone on office staff. We usually have a graduate assistant, and we're just kind of getting to learn you and really defining, kind of piggybacking off what you put in your application, because we do read them. And we do kind of want you to figure out, like, it's kind of like a conversation. It's not like we do want you to come, I say for your interview, put your best foot forward. Does the scholarship cover the cost to study abroad in Rome? It's about the same. It's the same cost with about the institution. So you don't really pay any difference if you're living on campus. There's really no difference. The interviews are not in person. The interviews actually are through Zoom.
And so just to go back, when you study abroad, it's almost kind of like a one-for-one from you being on campus to studying abroad. If there's a little bit of a gap, there are also other scholarships that we can help support so that students can close the gap between, studying abroad. One of the things that students do talk about when they study abroad is just travel expenses, in terms of if you want to go to other locations. Many students, when they study abroad, go to other countries. Obviously, you'd have to have the funds to be able to support some of that. The 10K scholarship does not include room and board, but it can be used towards room and board, correct?
I believe so. It's applied to your bill, I believe. Yes. Let's see. Scroll up a little bit more to see if we missed anything. Go back to the beginning. See. Working a little bit more. Okay, well, this is really that last call. 2 more minutes. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions that we have not talked about or addressed. I do not. I will also say we are available for you. Admissions is available for you who have any questions that we didn't cover or after this. The deadline is January 15th again. And I'm going to say, I guess I bid you farewell for the night and enjoy your evening. And if you have any more questions, because I do still see some people chatting, we'll try to answer them. I'll scroll back down. The scholarship doesn't cover the scholarship only covers $10,000. It may not be full coverage, but I will say there are also other scholarships available at the institution, and even when we study abroad, there are other scholarships available to students to cover some of the costs for study abroad.
We have lots of people saying thank you, and thank you for spending time with us and listening to us about the Ozanam Scholars Program. We really, really look forward to reading your applications. It's saying I'm trying to apply, but it's not allowing me because I haven't applied for September yet. What should I do?
I would reach out to admissions. If you're having trouble accessing the application, reach out to admissions and they should be able to help.
All the trips through the Ozanam Scholars Program are funded through the Ozanam Scholars.